These 5 Fanttik tools have thousands of great reviews online, but today none of this matters. And that's because every single one of these tools is stepping into the ring today and getting one of 2 ratings, and that is a knockout or a knockoff. And only one of these ratings is walking home with each tool, so let's ring the bell. I've tested a lot of budget tools over the years, and some have completely surprised me. And others have looked incredible when I go to do my Amazon deep runs only to find out they're complete disappointments.
It's disappointing.
And Fantic has been building a reputation for making compact, innovative tools, but can these tools actually compete with the tools I already have in my shop? And today, these 5 Fantic contenders have one job, and that's to convince me that they deserve a permanent spot in my workshop. So here's the rules for today's challenge. Each one of these tools will be judged on performance, ease of use, build quality, value, and would I actually use it? And if the Fantic tool earns a place in my shop, it's gonna get a knockout, while if it doesn't, it's gonna be a knockoff.
It's on like a mother.
So let's start off with round 1, the A10 Pro laser tape. So every shop starts off with one thing, and that is a tape measure. So if this thing can replace that, this fight is over before it starts. So let's start to dive into this bad boy and see how it actually performs. So this tape measure has an electronical component to it, so it's going to need a charge. In order to charge this thing, you simply slide this tab on the side and stick in a USB-C cord. Before we dive into the electronical components of this tape measure, let's take a look at the physical tape measure itself. Now this is an automatic tape measure that stays in place when you pull it out, and when you want to retract it, you simply push the button on the bottom. And the physical tape is 10 feet long, double-sided, and has both metric and imperial. And the hook even has some very strong magnets incorporated into it that are so strong you can pull the tape out with just those magnets.
Giant magnet? Giant magnet.
Now let's get into the electronical components of this tape measure, as it's actually got some pretty cool features. To show you some of these features, let's measure my tabletop. As you can see, as soon as we pull that tape out, the display automatically reads your measurement. And the display even has a sensor in it so that you can read this thing no matter which direction you point it. And by pressing the top button on this tape measure, you can either reference the very front of the tape measure or the very back of the tape measure. So let's see how accurate this tape measure is. First off, I want to take my normal tape measure and measure not only the length, but the width of my tabletop. First off, if we look at the length, it's just over 59.5 inches, while the width is just a smidgen over 23.5. So let's break out the A10 and get a measurement for the width, referencing the very back of the tape measure. And as you can see, it's about what I would expect at 59 9/16 of an inch. Now let's measure the other dimension of this tabletop using the same reference point, which is the back of the tape measure. And you'll see that this measurement comes out to 23 11/16, which is once again what I would expect it to be. And another nice thing about this tape measure is by simply pressing the large silver button on top, it will store all of your measurements to memory. But there's one more function with this unit, and that is a laser distance meter.
Nice.
By simply placing the butt end of this tape measure up against your wall, you can get the dimensions of any room that you want. And not only can you point and shoot with this laser distance meter, but you can also do a continuous measurement, an area measurement, and a volume measurement. And not only that, but if you need to be extremely precise, the tool also has a bubble level integrated into the item.
This guy's all bubble and no level.
So what do you think? Is this something that you would actually use in your shop? For me, I think it actually is, and it might be even something nice to have up at your house in case you need to do some on-the-fly measurements. And the fact that this item appears to be pretty darn accurate, is extremely easy to use, has a nice build quality, is reasonably affordable, and is something that I'll actually probably use, I'm gonna have to give this one a knockout rating.
You kicked my butt.
Well, one contender survives, but we need to check out our next contender, which is the A11 Ultra distance meter. So at first glance, this item kind of looks like our last item, but I assure you it's got a couple of extra bells and whistles. Just like the A10, the A11 is USB-C charged with the same slot that's covered with a little slide. You'll also notice with this tool there's only one single button, and that's a simple on and off switch. And the reason for this is just like your cell phone, this has got a touchscreen display that allows you to easily scroll through the menu.
I have a cell phone.
And I want to dive into some of these menus features. The first menu item that I want to take a look at is the auxiliary menu. If we look at the top item, you're going to see there's a wheel measurement feature, and this is where that little wheel on the very corner is going to come into play. Once that wheel function has been selected, you'll notice that there's crosshair lasers that appear on either side of the wheel. You can then align these lasers to a marking and then press the center button to zero out your tool. Then you can roll that wheel down the line until you hit your second point of measurement, and then you can press that center button again to lock in your measurement, which is a pretty cool feature incorporated into this tool, which kind of replaces a tape measure. The next item in the auxiliary menu is the digital level. Let's press that button and see what happens. Not only does this instantly create a digital level on the main screen, but it also creates a secondary level on the very top of the tool so that you can see it from any angle. And if we rotate the tool in any direction, you can see that that level automatically adjusts, giving us the readout that we want. And if we flip this tool on its back, it even has a center bubble level that you can easily read to make sure that you're completely flat.
Sounds like your mom.
And last but not least in this auxiliary menu is the calculator function. And this functions like any other calculator, and you simply use that touch screen to get your calculations. And since the primary function of this tool is a laser distance meter, we can return to the main menu to take a look at some of its laser features. Now, I'm not going to dive into detail as to how this laser distance meter works, as it works in the same fashion as that A10. But in the laser menu, it has not only distance measurement, but continuous measurement, area measurement, volume measurement, as well as virtual scale. And all of these features can be really nice for people like contractors, real estate agents, or us DIYers. And I'll have to say there's a couple of things that really surprised me with this tool. Not only its double screen and its ability to be used as a level and a bubble level, but also the fact that it's got a calculator on it. And it's this performance and ease of use, as well as having all these features in a small little package for a reasonable price when compared to other laser distance meters, that make this a pretty unique find. But would I actually use it in my shop? Well, I think the answer is yes. And because of this, I'm once again gonna have to give this item another knockout rating.
When I bring that paint to main tough.
Well, I'm beginning to notice something with these tools. Every single one of these items is trying to replace something bigger. A tape measure, a drill, a saw, and even a soldering station. All of these tools in a small footprint, which is a pretty bold strategy. Let's see if this strategy keeps on working in round 3. Now, this thing doesn't even resemble a drill. In fact, it more resembles an electric toothbrush. But that's not even close as to what this thing actually is. This is a straight up drill, and when we compare it to a full-size drill, you can see how much smaller it is. Now, I believe this thing is intended to drill small pilot holes for things like hinges, but let's first take a look at the case to see what this thing comes with. Now, the first thing that jumps out to me with this item is the fact that it comes with 20 drill bits, everything from 0.6 millimeters all the way up to 3.2 millimeters. And the case even has 2 extra compartments up top, one containing an extra chuck and the other containing the charging cord. And of course, it contains the drill itself. And if we close that case, you can see that on the side there's even a little hole where you can stick your USB-C charger. If we take a closer look at this drill, you'll notice that there's 2 turn knobs not only at the front of the drill, but also at the very back. Let's first take a look at the knob on the back of the drill. This is actually a locking knob to make sure that that tool is locked into place in case you want to put this drill inside something like your pocket. As when it's in that locked position, there's no way that this drill can be turned on. But when you flip this thing to its unlocked position, this item's ready to be used. Now let's take a look at the top of the tool, which is where you're going to find the turn knob so that you can adjust it from high to low. These 2 settings allow you to adjust the rotation of the drill from 250 RPM to 1300 RPM. And finally, on the shaft of the drill, you're going to find the left and right button, which allows you to change the direction of the rotation of the drill. And you may have even noticed that little light that gives you a visual representation of whether or not you're drilling into or backing off with your drill. And if you want to continuously drill without holding down that button, you can simply double press the forward button and it will continuously drill in place. And last but not least, this thing's got a really bright LED light on the very front to light your way as you go to drill your holes. But none of this really matters unless this thing can do some damage to wood. So let's grab one of the hardest hardwoods in my shop, which is some hickory flooring. And for this, I want to use the largest bit that's included with this kit, which is the 3.2 millimeter.
The largest size.
And to insert the bit, all you need to do is to rotate the chuck in the counterclockwise direction, slide your bit in, and then rotate it in the clockwise direction to tighten the bit in place. Now let's go over to this hickory and see if we can actually drill through that board. Now, I initially started drilling this out at the high setting, but it eventually stalled and I had to switch it to the low setting, but after I set it to the low setting, I was able to completely drill through that board. And that is pretty impressive for a drill this small that can fit into your pocket that can drill through hickory. And because of that, I'm pretty impressed with the performance of this tool and its ease of use. And this thing appears to be pretty high quality for its price, but will I actually use it?
Good question.
Well, I think I actually might, especially for tiny little hinges that may be overpowered by a regular size drill so that you can pre-drill your holes for screws. And although not my favorite tool so far today, we'll give this one a TKO. Well, I guess we're ready for round 4. Let's see how our next contender does. Before we jump into the ring, however, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video. It truly does help out this YouTube channel. Also, if you haven't checked out my website or you haven't been there in a while, go to FlynnDoggWoodwork.com, where you can get access to all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos. And I've just released some new models of shirts that are much more comfortable. And if any of these Fanttik tools intrigue you, I'll be sure to leave links in the description below so that you can go to Amazon and check them out for yourself. And finally, if you'd like to support this channel even further, check out my channel memberships where you get early access to all my videos as well as one member video a week. Now let's get back into round 4. So this is where things start to get a little bit serious as we're going up against a heavy duty tool, which is the Jigsaw. Now these are obviously two totally different designs, and my first impressions with this Fantic is it feels a little bit thick and hefty, kind of like your mom. Now right off the bat, it's kind of nice that this Jigsaw comes with 5 different blades and even a carrying case with those blades. But I'm more interested in the Jigsaw itself. Now I've played around with this Jigsaw for a bit and I'll have to say this thing is extremely easy to use. Just like with most Fantic tools, this tool is once again charged with the USB-C port on the very end of the tool. Let's first talk about how you actually install a blade on this saw, and it has everything to do with this little gold tab on the very side of the saw. All we need to do is to depress this gold tab, and this will then allow us to rotate the very top in the counterclockwise direction. And with it now rotated, we can slide our blade in, rotate it counterclockwise, and that blade will be locked into place. And if you're curious, this Jigsaw uses a blade that most Jigsaws use, and that's the standard T-shank ones.
T-bag bone.
Now that we have that blade installed, let's move our attention to the handle of the tool, which is where we're going to find 2 buttons. The first button is obviously the on and off button. Simply depress it and hold it and the tool will turn right on. And you may have noticed as soon as we turn that on, a bright LED ring light shines on the very end of the tool. But let's take a look at what that second button does, which is actually a sliding knob. When the tool is on, by sliding this knob, you can actually increase and decrease the up and down motion of that saw blade, which actually gives you a heck of a lot of control with this tool, and I really like the fact that the display actually gives you a gauge. And that's really about it with this tool, but we need to see if this thing can actually cut, so let's go back to that hickory. And I'm not going to do a whole lot here other than the fact that I just want to make sure that this thing's got enough power to blaze through this wood. Now at first it seemed like it would work, but I tried this for about 2 to 3 minutes and I even switched out a blade and I just couldn't get through that wood.
Wood.
But even more importantly than that, this thing vibrates like a motherfucker. Now I'm not sure whether or not it will show up on camera, but this saw vibrated like crazy and it even made my vision go blurry. And I think part of it has to do with the fact that this thing has got such a small base to give it support as you're going to make your cut. Now I did try this on some plywood and it was able to make a cut, however it was very slow and that vibration continued to be a problem. And because of all these issues, I don't think I even need to dive into whether or not it won this round, as this Jigsaw is going to definitely have to get my first knockoff rating.
But that stuff is junk.
Well, we're down to our final contender, and hopefully this item can spring back like Mike Tyson did.
Hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Watch me beat Peter McNeely on Comcast Cablevision.
Now, if you haven't guessed what this item is, this is actually a cordless soldering iron. And one of the first things that I noticed with this item is this thing's got a heck of a lot of accessories. Not only does it come with tweezers, but also a mistake or cleanup sucker, along with a bunch of extra tips for that sucker.
This sucks more than anything that I've ever sucked before.
And 10 cleanup sponges, including 5 yellow as well as 5 rougher black ones.
It's racist.
And these sponges are meant to be wet and they perfectly fit in the tray on the bottom of the holster. Now that holster actually has 2 functions. Not only does it hold that soldering iron as it goes to cool off, but it also allows you to rotate the tool so that you can charge it wherever you need to place it. Another nice feature of the holster is right on the base of it, right where it says press. If we depress this, you'll see that it's a little drawer where you can store just the tips.
Just the tips.
And 4 different shaped tips are included with this item right out of the box. But let's take a look at the tool itself, as this once again has a very simple design. On the handle, you're going to find the on and off button. Simply depress this for 3 seconds and it will turn the tool on and begin heating. But one thing that's really nice about this tool is it actually has a couple of safety features, and it won't turn on unless there's a tip installed. So let's do that now. To install the tip, you simply unscrew the locking knob on the top, and then you can place your tip into the tool and then lock it into place by turning it clockwise. And now that we have that tip installed, once we press that on button and hold it for 3 seconds, this thing will begin to heat. And that on and off switch switch will shine red as it's heating up and turn green once it's ready to use. And you'll also notice that once you turn this thing on, there's an LED light right on the tip of it to light your way as you go to do your soldering. And the soldering iron even has another safety feature called Smart Sleep, which means that if it doesn't sense any activity for 30 seconds, it will go to sleep. And when it's asleep, as soon as you pick it up again, it will sense the vibration and immediately begin heating up and be ready to use. And if there's no activity with this thing for 15 minutes, this thing will entirely shut down. But let's look at the bottom of this soldering iron, where you're going to find a little knob so that you can adjust the temperatures. The soldering iron has 6 preset temperatures ranging from 350 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 840 degrees Fahrenheit.
Ooh, hot.
Oh, yeah, that's hot. That is hot.
Which should be plenty of heat to do most of your work, but let's turn this thing on and see if we can actually solder something. Now, I'm not the best at soldering things together, but it does indeed work, and this is at its lowest setting of 350 degrees. And the fact that it does indeed work and appears to be high quality for such a small package and is so easy to use for a small price, I think this thing is pretty darn good. But will I actually use it? Well, I'm gonna have to say I actually will, because my only other soldering iron that I have right now is a torch soldering iron, and I don't like the fact that I continuously have to fill that thing with butane. So in this round, I'm once again gonna have to give this thing a knockout rating.
Yes, my fuse is so short, and I'm at the level where it's a possibility I may kill them.
So 4 knockouts and 1 knockoff isn't bad for a brand that most people haven't heard of before. And I expected more of these tools to be gimmicks today, which goes to show that Fantic's putting out some decent quality tools that aren't just some high-tech gadgets. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these tools and if you would rate these tools in the same way that I did. Well, thanks as always for joining me today, and before we get to Bert's Best at the end of this video, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video. It truly does help out this channel. And if you haven't had a chance to check out my website yet, or if you haven't been there in a while, go to FlynnDoggWoodwork.com, where you can get access to all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos. And if any of these Fantic tools interest you, just like always, I'll be sure to leave links in the description below so that you can go check them out for yourself. And finally, if you'd like to support this channel even further, check out my channel memberships, where you can get early access to all my videos as well as 1 member video a week. Until next time, take care as always. All right, let's get it. So I lost my watch at a party once when I saw some guy step on it while he was harassing a couple of girls. So I went over there and I punched him right in the face. I told him that's not gonna happen on my watch. So if I ever see somebody drinking a Sprite, I'll go right over there and punch them in the face. That's the first rule of Sprite Club. There's only one time when I condone punching a little person in the face. That's when they tell you your hair smells nice. I have an Indian friend that I'm pretty pissed off at. I think he might be a wife beater. I heard he punches his wife right in the face at 7 p.m. on the dot. Here's a 1, 2, 3 punch of cow jokes. What do you call a cow with 2 legs? Lean beef. What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef. What do you call a masturbating cow? Well, I call it beef stroganoff. I saw Dwayne Johnson at a bar last week, so I slapped him in the butt. That was a huge mistake. He turned right around and punched me in the face. I guess that's what happens when you hit rock bottom.